Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is everyone here? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, Miss, I can hear you.
okay, thank you. Mr. Handy is unable to attend, so we just can start the, the introduction. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the International Conference on Interdisciplinarity for Sustainable Development Interdis 2025, organized by APTC Komisariat 6B in collaboration with Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. My name is Rainita Pratimarkini, and I'm honored to serve as your moderator for this session. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope this session will be both insightful and engaging for everyone. So, before we begin, let me briefly introduce our distinguished speakers. First, we have Ms. Alia Putri Priangkusuma from the Accounting Study Program at Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. Our second speaker is Mr. Faisal Reza from Communication Science Study Program at Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. Third, we welcome Mr. Hendy Wijaya, but unable to attend today, from the Management Study Program at Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. Our fourth speaker is Ms. Izni Shokina Filza from Visual Communication Design Study Program at Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. And finally, we have Ms. Latifah Dinar from the Management Study Program at Universitas Informatika dan Bisnis Indonesia. We are truly honored to have all of you here with us. To ensure smooth session, I kindly remind all participants to first keep microphones muted during the presentation and post your question in the chat box or use the raise hand feature during Q&A and be active and engage while respecting the time limit. Without further ado, let us begin with our first presentation. It is my pleasure to invite Ms. Alia Putri Pringgakusuma to present the effect of capital structure and dividend policy on financial performance. To Ms. Alia, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Respect ladies and gentlemen, honorable committee members, and all participants who I respect. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to present my research paper today. My name is Alia Putri Pringgakusuma, and I represent the Faculty of Economics and Business of Indonesia, majoring in Accounting 2022. On this occasion, I will present my research entitled The Effect of Capital Structure and Dividend Policy on Financial Performance, Empirical Study on Banking Subsector Companies, list on the Indonesia Stock Exchange in 2021 to 2024. The rapid development of the global business environment has intensified competition across industry. In general, the primary objective of company is to maximize profits, which requires a deep understanding of evolving business dynamics. Financial performance serves as a key indicator of company's health and success in managing its financial resources. Currently, financial service companies are facing significant challenges, including a slowdown in growth. The financial performance, measured by return on asset or ROA, in banking subsector companies from 2021 to 2034 has been fluctuating with a downtrend. This may indicate the presence of structural or external challenges that continue to burden the banking sector, resulting in a decline in financial performance in 2022 and 2024. In capital structure, the graph showed that the debt-to-equity ratio or DER of companies in the banking subsector consistently declined from 2021 to 2024. This indicates the banking companies tend to reduce their reliance on debt best financing or increase the proportion of equity in their capital structure. This decline in DER should ideally be responded to positively in terms of financial performance, as it reflects sound financial management. However, in reality, the financial performance has declined. For dividend policy, the graph illustrates the trend of the average dividend payout ratio or DPR among banking companies during the period from 2021 to 2024. Based on the data, the banking sector has shown a consistent upward trend in DPR from year to year. A higher DPR indicates a greater proportion of profits being distributed as dividends, leaving a smaller portion retained for investment into the business. Furthermore, the data show that by 2024, the financial sector, particularly the banking industry, will be the largest contributor to the total dividend distribution. This large contribution from the banking sector supports the upward trend in average DPR. This finding suggests that dividend policy in the banking sector plays an important role in shaping the overall average DPR in the market. It also highlights the need for a deeper analysis of whether or not this policy reflect sound financial strategy. Literature review or grand theory, signaling theory. Signaling theory is management concept that aims to convey information to external parties such as investor regarding how managed can influence company performance. The relevance of signaling theory in this study lies in variables such as capital structure and dividend policy that can be a positive signal for financial performance. In this case, financial performance is a response to signal sent through managerial decision such as capital structure and dividend policy. ROA as an indicator of the effectiveness of the use of assets to generate profits can be influenced by market perception of these signals. Apply theory. Financial performance. In this study, financial performance is calculated using return on assets, ROA, because the ratio can represent financial performance as seen from the company ability to generate profits and on the assets owned. In capital structure, in this study, capital structure was measured using debt to equity ratio or DER. DER showed the extent to which the company relies on debt in financing its operational and investment activities compared to capital from company owners. And dividend policy. In this study, dividend policy was measured using the dividend payout ratio or DPR. This ratio reflects management decision to allocate profits between dividends or return to shareholders and return earning or for reinvestment or capital strengthening. Population and sample. Population Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Respect ladies and gentlemen, honorable committee members, and all participants who I respect. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to present my research paper today. My name is Alia Putri Pringgakusuma, and I represent the Faculty of Economics and Business of Indonesia, majoring in Accounting 2022. On this occasion, I will present my research entitled The Effect of Capital Structure and Dividend Policy on Financial Performance, Empirical Study on Banking Subsector Companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange in 2021 to 2024. The rapid development of the global business environment has intensified competition across industry. In general, the primary objective of company is to maximize profits, which requires a deep understanding of evolving business dynamics. Financial performance serves as a key indicator of company's health and success in managing its financial resources. Currently, financial service companies are facing significant challenges, including a slowdown in growth. The financial performance, measured by return on asset or ROA, in banking subsector companies from 2021 to 2024 has been fluctuating with a downtrend. This may indicate the presence of structural or external challenges that continue to burden the banking sector, resulting in a decline in financial performance in 2022 and 2024. In capital structure, the graph showed that the debt-to-equity ratio or DER of companies in the banking subsector consistently declined from 2021 to 2024. This indicates the banking companies tend to reduce their reliance on debt-based financing or increase the proportion of equity in their capital structure. This decline in DER should ideally be responded to positively in terms of financial performance, as it reflects sound financial management. However, in reality, the financial performance has declined. For dividend policy, the graph illustrates the trend of the average dividend payout ratio or DPR among banking companies during the period from 2021 to 2024. Based on the data, the banking sector has shown a consistent upward trend in DPR from year to year. A higher DPR indicates a greater proportion of profits being distributed as dividends, leaving a smaller portion retained for investment into the business. Furthermore, the data show that by 2024, the financial sector, particularly the banking industry, will be the largest contributor to the total dividend distribution. This large contribution from the banking sector supports the upward trend in average DPR. This finding suggests that dividend policy in the banking sector plays an important role in shaping the overall average DPR in the market. It also highlights the need for a deeper analysis of whether or not these policies reflect sound financial strategy. Literature review or grand theory, signaling theory. Signaling theory is management concept that aims to convey information to external parties such as investor regarding how managed can influence company performance. The relevance of signaling theory in this study lies in variables such as capital structure and dividend policy that can be a positive signal for financial performance. In this case, financial performance is a response to signal sent through managerial decision such as capital structure and dividend policy. ROA as an indicator of the effectiveness of the use of assets to generate profits can be influenced by market perception of the signals. Apply theory. Financial performance. In this study, financial performance is calculated using return on assets, ROA, because the ratio can represent financial performance as seen from the company ability to generate profits and on the assets owned. In capital structure, in this study, capital structure was measured using debt to equity ratio or DER. DER showed the extent to which the company relies on debt in financing its operational and investment activities compared to capital from company owners. And dividend policy. In this study, dividend policy was measured using the dividend payout ratio or DPR. This ratio reflects management decision to allocate profits between dividends or return to shareholders and return earning or for reinvestment or capital strengthening. Population and sample. Population banking subsector companies list on the Indonesian Stock Exchange and sample criteria. Banking subsector companies that do not earn profits consistently in 2021 to 2024, banking subsector companies that do not distribute dividends and are reported in the financial statement consistently in 2021 to 2024. For company sample, it's 15, research year for year, and total sample is 60. The population taken in this study are banking subsector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange in 2021 to 2024. The sample is part of the number characteristics possessed by the population. Sample taken from the population must be representative. The sampling method in this study used purposive sampling. Result and decision. The analysis shows the capital structure or DER and dividend policy with DPR together or simultaneously have a significant effect on financial performance as measured by ROA. Partially, capital structure with DER has a negative and significant influence on financial performance with ROA. This showed that the higher the DER, which reflects the greater proportion of debt compared to capital, the lower the level of company profitability. This result is in line with the capital structure theory, which states that interest expense from debt can surpass net income, thus reducing ROA. Dividend policy with DPR has a positive but insignificant effect on ROA. This means that although in theory a high dividend distribution can provide a positive signal of the company's financial prospects. In practice, in this period, the dividend policy has not been proven to significantly affect banking profitability. Conclusion, based on the results of research on the effect of capital structure and dividend policy on financial performance study on banking companies listed on ADX, the following conclusion can be drawn. First, simultaneously, the capital structure variable DER and dividend policy DPR have a significant effect on financial performance as measured by return on asset or ROA. Partially, capital structure with DER has a negative and significant effect on ROA. This means that the higher the ratio of debt to equity of the company's financial performance tends to decrease. And third, dividend policy with DPR partially has no significant effect on ROA, although the direction of the relationship shows a positive influence. This result indicates that the amount of dividends distributed is not strong enough to directly affect the company's financial performance within the observation period used. Overall, this study showed the importance of healthy capital structure management in improving the financial performance of banking companies. Meanwhile, dividend policy, although important as a signal for investor, has not shown a significant effect on profitability in the short term. That's all I can say. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Miss Alia, for your informative presentation. And now we'll move on to a brief Q&A session. But before Q&A, please, for every presenter, can you open the mic? Open the camera, I mean. Okay, let's start. So, Miss Alia, we have received one question from the audience addressed to you. The question is, why is the indicator used in this study to measure financial performance the return on assets ROA ratio? Miss Alia, the floor is yours to respond.
Okay, thank you for the question. Allow me to provide my answer. The financial performance indicator is measured using return on asset because ROA reflects the company's effectiveness in managing its total assets to generate profit. ROA is chosen as it is more relevant, stable, and widely used in financial research to assess a company overall profitability and efficiency.
Rae, Rae, can you hear me? Oke, please.
Yes, Pak Agi.
Oke, kayaknya Rae ke-mute nggak?
Oh iya, ke-mute ya
Ya.
dari tadi.
Oke,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Oke, take care.
Okay. Okay.
Oke, to be
Thank you.
continue ya.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Alia, for your insightful responses. The next speaker of breakout room. The next speaker is Mr. Faisal Reza, but he go out from the breakout room. So can we please wait for him to join us in a short time? Hello? Mr. Faisal, are you there? I'm sorry for everyone for the delay.
Right.
To Mr. Faisal Reza, are you ready to present?
Okay.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to our second presentation. I'm delighted to invite Mr. Faisal Reza to present the resistant message against capitalism conveyed by the tomato farmers of Cikarumbi Village, Lembang Sub-District, through the cultural event of Rempuk Tarung Adu Tomat. Mr. Faisal, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I need to listen. This is my this right. And you You see my observation?
Yeah, we can see.
Sorry. Laser. Unable. So it's the departure. Picture, especially. And when it comes to the presentation, I will show you. I will. I'm sorry. I will show you. Yeah. In this presentation, to a critical and qualitative approach. So, yeah, we need to check how fast I go with feedback. Which currently not even for sorry, let's command prices during the process of selling their tomatoes and lower prices. Middlemen, the farmer just let them out and let's transport this egg into a symbolic culture ritual. Ritual has now become Java culture tourism agenda and also serve as a form of crisis. This study is granted this. Sorry, this study is granted in the critical way. It's pure social reality as a programming subject. I use Carnot's story, class theory to analyze symbolic meaning. Marx views society as Jews, it all looks the proletariat. In this case, proletariat is they are part. In this context, historical materialism become relevant. As in a precise how systems have the social institution. Capitalism with its foundation in competition, intensive exploitation, alienation. Yeah, this research critical understanding of symbol use in more tomato data collection include observation, documentation, and cultural analysis. The goal is not to measure, but to cover the deeper meaning behind symbolic system. This approach is aligned with Denson and Colin field of quantitative research as reflective meaning making process. Nah, the study identified two phases of the system. The first phase is passive. Farmer allowed tomato rather than sell, then in the second phase, they create a symbolic form of protest to tomatoes by throwing rotten tomato at one another. They perform a ritual that express tomatoes, then represent their evaluate labor identity. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then symbolic instead of resistance, the tomato one is risk of symbolic meaning. First, the mascot. The mascot represents capitalist again. It exploits the second, the bamboo mask. The bamboo mask symbolize falsehood and deception. Throwing rotten tomatoes to at the mask is of rejecting in authenticity and certain dignity. After the tomato are converse and used, a powerful metaphor of self-sufficiency and reclamation. this act on the non-verbal bodies that speak louder than first, the farmer resistance is not aimed to overthrowing the states or dismantling class structure. It reflects a longing for justice and the need for states intervention. They want to states to act a mediator between bourgeois and proletariat. Their protest is cultural and rooted in the everyday structure. In conclusion, the Thomas is a symbolic class struggle. It's communicate resistance through cultural expression, not violence. It illustrates how ritual can be political and how the phrase can transform suffering into solidarity. This case reminds us can be creative, communal, and cultural gain, especially when institution is failed to protect vulnerable communities. Okay, that's my research papers. Thank you very much for your attention. I now welcome your question, comment, or reflection. Thank you, Miss Rai.
Okay. That was indeed a very engaging presentation. Thank you, Mr. Faisal. We now have one question from the audience for you. The question is the tomato fight event still being held?
Oh, okay. Currently, the tomato fight event has not been held again, as tomato prices have remains relatively stable and profitable. However, if the event does take a place in the future, sure, you really have to go there, witness it yourself. Because what? Because it's not just you watch war like tomato throw tomato each other. It's not. It's not. When you witness that, you can be smile because you know it's symbol of resistance. Symbol of resistance. How farmer take a place. It's not violence there. It's not apa ya? Jadi however the stack is like a culture. You should go there. Right.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your helpful answer, Mr.
Thank you.
Faisal.
Thank you.
Now, let's continue with our third speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, let's welcome Miss Izni Shokina Filza, presenting on designing of educational illustration of Sundanese traditional games for elementary school students in Bandung City. For Miss Izni, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izni Shokina Filza. Today, I am going to present about designing of educational illustration of Sundanese traditional games for elementary school students in Bandung City. And the first introduction. In the midst of globalization and rapid digital technology advancements, many aspects of the local culture has begun to marginalize, one of which is traditional children games. Gadgets and online games now dominate children's leisure times, replacing the traditional games that were once an integral part of their daily lives. The phenomenon has resulted in an increasing number of children who neither know nor play traditional games, even though such games hold educational value and significant benefits for children's development. And then the Indigenous Women Empowerment Forum states that around 65% of children in Indonesia no longer recognize traditional game as a result of technological development by Antara Bali 2018. Children are now more familiar with gadget screen than with physical activities, as found in traditional games. In fact, traditional games such as Kalah Asin and many more organizing from various regions in West Java play an important role in developing motor skills, cognitive abilities, and social values such as cooperation and sportsmanship. And then, based on concern of these situations, a visual communication design student, as part of personal project course, selected the theme Nusantara with a focus on illustrating traditional games from West Java. This project refers to the Jabarmain article from the olahmain.com website as its primary course. The aim of this work is to revive the existence of traditional games that are becoming forgotten through an engaging and easily understood visual approach. It is hoped that this illustration can serve as a medium for educations and cultural preservation, as well as spark the interest of the younger generations in the rich heritage of Nusantara's traditional games. And then in the problem identification, the first is the rapid development of digital technology has made children more interested in gadget-based games than in traditional games like Sundanese game or Kaulinan Sunda. Knowledge and skill in playing Kaulinan Sunda are diminishing due to lack of the direct practice in daily life. Tadi educational or informational media that present Kaulinan Sunda with engaging visual in and child-friendly format remain limited. There is a lack of involvement among younger generation in preserving traditional game as a part of local cultural heritage. And then the last, no interactive media currently exists that effectively combine educational, entertainment, and cultural preservation aspect. And then in the research objective is the first is to explore and document various types of Kaulinan Sunda along with their rules and embed cultural values, and then to design engaging and accessible educational or informational media for children to introduce Kaulinan Sunda, and then to increase children interest in traditional games through creative and interactive visual approach, and then to support the preservation of local culture so that Kaulinan Sunda continues to be known and played by younger generations. And then the last is to encourage the participations of communities, especially children and educators, in sustaining and reviving traditional games. And then in the literature review, the first is illustration, started by Kosrianto. The term illustration literally refers to an image used to clarify or complement a particular subject. And the design character, the specific definition is to designing a character starting from the bodies and character visual appearance, including hairstyle, costume, and or clothing worn, and character props. And then cultural preservation is the effort to maintain and revive the value, custom, and tradition of society. And then the last is visual communications. Is the process of conveying message through visual media involving designs elements such as color, shapes, and composition. Visual literacy refers to the ability to understand the interpret message conveyed through image. Both are essentials to ensure that illustration can be understood by a young audience. And then the method is the first is research method. Qualitative research is a study aimed at gaining an in-depth understanding of a phenomenon from the perspective of the research subject through descriptive use of words and language within a specific context by the experience and by applying various scientific methods. And then data collection technique. The primary data collection technique is done by observing, while the secondary data collection technique is done by collecting data from various available courses such as literature studies, book, or official documents, and many more. And then the result and discussions, the resulting design is an educational illustration set that introduces Sundanese traditional games to elementary school students in Bandung City. The use of color and narrative style illustration proved to be engaging for elementary school students, supporting both visual learning and cultural appreciations. And then this is the result. This illustration features 5 child character designed to represent children from the Sundanese region, particularly Bandung. Each character carries distinctive trait relevant to the local environment and culture, such as the traditional headband worn by the male character and the simple hairstyle for female character. The color palette consists of bright and warm tones combined with simple body shapes and child-friendly proportions, making the visual easily accepted by audience. And then the illustration style is friendly, expressive, and cheerful, aiming to create a sense of connection and encourage children to explore Sundanese traditional game. And this design consists of several stages as a part of the process to produce engaging and relevant educational illustration. And then the first step is pre-production. In this stage, the designer collects various references, including the character, children's illustration style, and elements of Sundanese culture. These references are then used to create initial sketch of the character, focusing on visual appeal, child-friendliness, and cultural relevance. And then during the production pass, the selected sketch are refined and digitally illustrated. This process includes coloring the character using a warm, vibrant palette, as well as adding detailed elements, coloring, accessories, and facial expression to enhance personality and readability for young audience. And then in the post-production stage, the final illustrations are reviewed and adjusted to ensure consistency in style and clarity. The characters are also tested visual in mock-up applications like example insert, book, and many more. And then conclusion. The educational illustration design of Sudanese traditional games aims to introduce and preserve local cultural heritage in a way that is engaging and relatable for elementary school students. Based on research data and reference search, the character and visual are adapted to the characteristic of children in Sundanese region, particularly Bandung City. The design focused on creating illustrations that are visually appealing, easy to understand, and culturally relevant for the target audience. The result of this design is a set of colorful and friendly character illustrations that depict the children playing Sundanese traditional game. Each illustration is designed to attract attention through the use of warm colors, simple shape, and expressive character, while also conveying clear visual information about the game. This media serves as a learning tool to encourage children to recognize and participate in traditional games, fostering both enjoyment and appreciation of local culture from our early age. And this is the reference. And thank you.
Thank you, Miss Isni, for your insightful talk. And now let us take one brief question from the audience. Miss Isni, are you there?
Yes, Miss, I am here.
Yeah. The question is, how can interactive media be used to teach Kaulinan Sunda?
Hey, Miss, thank you for the question. And the answer is interactive media, such as board games, apps, or augmented reality, allow children to actively participate, simulating traditional gameplay in a fun and educational way. And that is my answer, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Miss Isni, for addressing those questions. And next, as we move forward, it is my pleasure to invite our fourth speaker, Mr. Handi Wijaya, who will share the presentation on formulation and implementation of business strategy. It's by love. Mr. Handi, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, how are you? Let me introduce myself. My name is Hendy Wijaya from the University of Informatics and Business of Indonesia. Allow me to make the presentation. Formulation and implementation of business strategy is beloved. Research background: the creative knitting industry in Indonesia has rapidly developed, especially in the Binong Jati area of Bandung. Knitting UMKM have become an important part of driving the local economy and empowering community, particularly women. However, this UMKM face challenges such as competition from imported products, a lack of product innovation, limited access to digital technology, and relatively simple business management. Isbelovit is one of the fashion UMKM that focus on producing cardigan and sweater made from knit fabric. The product are market digital through Shopee and TikTok Shop, targeting young to adult women. Although experience growth, this UMKM needs to strengthen its management, product innovation, and operational system to compete sustainably. Company history and vision and mission. Company history: founded in 2022 by three people, Nabila Putri, Ariel, and Yusuf. It began as an initiative for post-vocational high school graduates without permanent jobs. Sales began in the local community and continued to grow to social media and marketplace. Product is carried out at a convention factory owned by partner Mr. Ani in West Java. Vision: to become knitwear store that offers quality and affordable product for all. Mission: provide comfortable, simple, and high quality product. Priority: customer satisfaction with friendly service and a flexible return policy. Develop digital marketing strategy such as live streaming and collaborating with influencers. Organizational structure: CEO Nabila, operational Ariel and Yusuf, admin marketplace. Analysis method: location and time, conducted in the Binong Jati area of Bandung City for 12 weeks. Data type and source: primary data, interview and direct observation of MSME manager. Secondary data: financial document, sales report, and industry literature. Analysis method: qualitative, descriptive, SWOT, EVAS, and value chain analysis. Stable strength: the total internal strength score is 3.01, indicating a very strong internal position. Stable weakness: the total internal weakness score is 1.00 out of a weight of 3.66, which indicated its slight weakness in the marketing sector. Stable opportunities: the total external opportunities score is 0.72 out of a weighted score of 2.0. 65, indicating significant growth potential. The primary opportunity lies in the growth of digital technology fashion sector, which can be leveraged to expand market and improve service. Table traits. The total external trait score is 1.00 out of weight 3.39, reflecting low pressure. The main trait comes from online sales competition. Financial condition, liquid ratio, current ratio 375.9% in the second year. Leverage ratio, debt to asset ratio 4.32% the second year. Activity ratio, total asset turnover 11.98% the second year. Profitability ratio, net profit margin 14.5% the second year. Liquid ratio, current ratio, a value of 375.9% or 3.759 means that the company has current asset equal to times its current liabilities. The company has more current asset than current liabilities, indicating a strong ability to meet its short-term obligation. Leverage ratio, the company is more financial independent and better able to withstand crisis or revenue declines as it is not burdened by obligation to pay interest and principal debt. Activity ratio, this may be due to a decline in sales and increase in unproduced asset or an expansion strategy that has not yet generated profit. Net profit margin, the company demonstrates a strong ability to generate net profit from its sales. The quotient strategy, corporate strategy, growth strategy, expand market reach through digital marketing and participation in marketplace events. Business strategy, focus differentiation strategy, target young female consumer with simple, trendy knitwear and affordability prices. Functional strategy, marketing, segmenting the market and actively promoting on TikTok and Shopee. Operasi, make to order production through partner garment manufacturer in-house packing. Finance, funding from personal capital. Human resource, clear division of tax and plan staff training. Conclusion, its Biolopit is a knitwear fashion MSME that has grown through digital marketing strategy and content-based sales. The company finance performance is relatively healthy, with high liquidity and positive profit margin. Its internal strength lies in customer service, creative content, and adaptive digital marketing strategies. The main challenges stem from an unrestricted production and financial system, as well as intense external competition. The implemented growth and differentiation strategy have been effective, but must be supported by product innovation and the professionalism of internal management. With consistent system improvement and innovation, its Biolopit has the potential to become a competitive and sustainability local fashion brand. Thank you for
Okay.
attention.
Okay. Many thanks, Mr. Henny, for such a comprehensive presentation. We have received many more questions, but unfortunately our time is limited, so we move forward. Now we will come to our fifth and final speakers for today. Please welcome Ms. Latifah Dinar, who will deliver a presentation titled The Influence of Investment Opportunity Set and Sales Growth on Firm Value in Coal Production Subsector Companies listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange during the 2020 till 2024 period. Ms. Latifah, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. Let me introduce my name Latifah Dinar. Here I will explain my research and detail the influence of investment opportunity set and sales growth on fair value in coal production subsector companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the period 2022-2024. First, the background. The coal subsector is important in the mining industry, playing a strategic role in national energy and state revenue. Production has declined since 2020 due to energy policy, cost, environmental issue, and the shift to renewable energy, which has impacted stock price on the Indonesian Stock Exchange. Next, the average market-based value of asset in the coal production subsector declined from 2020 to 2024, with the highest value in 2021 and the lowest in 2024. This decline was influenced by global price fluctuation, duration demand due to the transition to renewable energy, state environmental policy, rising production costs, and limited investment in technology, all of which pressure company revenue and value. Sales growth in the coal subsector fluctuated during 2020 to 2024, with the highest value in 2020 and the lowest in 2024. Growth was hindered by global energy policy, decline coal pricing, rising production costs, and political and economic factors that pressure demand and profitability. This study is important because investment opportunity set and sales growth have a significant impact on company performance and value, with IOS reflecting investment potential and sales growth indicating the ability to increase revenue and market share. Next point, the problem statement number 1. What is the overview of investment opportunity set and sales growth and firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020 to 2024 period? Number 2. How significant is the particle effect of the investment opportunity set on firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020 to 2024 period? Number 3. How significant is the particle effect of sales growth on firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020 to 2024 period? Number 4. How significant is the simultaneous effect of investment opportunity set and sales growth on firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020-2024 period? The next point, research object. Number 1, to understand the overview of investment opportunity set, sales growth, and firm value in coal production subsector company on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020 to 2024 period. Number 2, to determine the particle effect of the investment opportunity set on firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020-2024 period. Number 3, to determine the particle effect of sales growth on firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020 to 2024 period. Number 4, to determine the simulation effect of investment opportunity set and sales growth on firm value in coal production subsector companies on the Indonesian Stock Exchange during the 2020-2024 period. The next point is conceptual framework. This study adopts signaling theory for all three variables: investment opportunity set, sales growth, and firm value. Since they each represent signaling from the companies to stakeholder. Next, the point research paradigm. The above conceptual framework show the influence of the independent variable on the dependent variable. The independent variable consists of two variables, investment opportunity set and sales growth, while the dependent variable is firm value. Next, hypothesis formulation. Hypothesis 1, investment opportunity set has a significant partial effect on firm value in the coal production subsector on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2020 to 2024 period. Hypothesis 2, sales growth has a significant partial effect on firm value in the coal production subsector on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2020 to 2024 period. Hypothesis 3, investment opportunity set and sales growth simultaneously have a significant effect on firm value in the coal production subsector on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2020 to 2024 period. The next point, research methodology. This study used descriptive and verificative method with a quantitative approach that processed a numeral data using statistics. Descriptive statistics describe the data without making generalization, which will verificative research and to very specific information or knowledge. Next, population. The population of these studies consists of 120 financial reports from 2024 companies in the coal production subsector listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the period 2020 to 2024. Next, the sample. This study as a non-probability sampling method, specifically purposive sampling, which is a sampling technology based on certain criteria set by the research. Not all members of the population have an equal chance for being selected as sample. The study has 11 companies and 55 financial reports. Next, data collection technique. Number one, documentation. Annual report of each coal company, the Indonesian Stock Exchange annual report, and stock sheet are used to obtain their other supporting data. Number two, literature review study. Collection purpose research theory related to the variable to be studied. Next, classical assumption test. The classical assumption test is used to assess the feasibility of the linear regression model and ensure that the model is free from the deviation, making a sensibility for hypothesis testing. This test is important for producing a good regression model. This study conducts several types of classical assumption tests. Next, normality test. The normality test aims to determine whether the data in the regression model are normally distributed. This study used the Kolmogorov-Smirnov method with a significant level of 0.05. If the significant value is greater than 0.05, the data are normal distributed, and if it's less than 0.05, the data are not normal. Next, multicollinearity test. The multicollinearity test is used to detect percent of correlation among independent variables in a regression model. One way to do this is by using the tolerance and variance inversion factor values as indicator. Next, heteroscedasticity test. The heteroscedasticity test aims to detect unequal variance of residual in a regression model. This study used the Gleiser test, where if the significant value is greater than 5% heteroscedasticity does not occur. If it is less than 5%, heteroscedasticity is percent. Next, autocorrelation test. The autocorrelation test aims to detect the presence of correlation between residual in the current period and the previous period in a linear regression model. Next, multiple linear regression analysis. Multiple linear regression analysis is used to obtain a complete understanding of the influence of independent variable on the dependent variable. Next, multiple correlation analysis. Multiple correlation is a value that indicates the difference and strength of the relationship between two or more variables collection with another variable. Next, coefficient of determinacy analysis. Calculated the coefficient of determinacy by squaring the obtained coefficient. Next, t-test partial. The t-test or partial test is a test of the regression coefficient individually to determine the partial significance of each independent variable on the dependent variable. F-test simultan. According to Shahir, the F-test aims to determine whether there is a simultan effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable. That is all Can Delivery. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Latifa, for concluding our presentation with such valuable insight. But unfortunately, our time is limited, so please note that unanswered questions may be addressed by the speakers via our WhatsApp chat group after this session. So before ending this event, let's we take a photo together. For everyone in here, please open your camera. Okay, ready? Everyone ready? So, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We have now reached the end of our session at International Conference on Interdisciplinarity for Sustainable Development, INTERDIS 2025. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to all of our distinguished speakers for their inspiring presentations and to all participants for your active engagement throughout the session. We truly hope today's discussion has been insightful and valuable for everyone. This officially concludes our program. Next, you may now leave the Zoom meeting at your convenience. I'm Ryanita. Thank you once again, and we wish you a pleasant day ahead. Stay safe, stay inspired, and see you at our future event. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Rai.
Thank you, Mr. Faisal.